The Prime Minister also met today with Professor Mohammed Yunus, the Chief Advisor of the Interim Government of Bangladesh. Prime Minister reiterated India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. He underlined that India believed in a people-centric approach to the relationship and highlighted the cooperation between the two countries over a long period of time that has delivered tangible benefits to people in both countries. And in this spirit, he once again underlined to Professor Yunus India's desire to forge a positive and constructive relationship with Bangladesh based on a spirit of pragmatism.
A meeting that was widely speculated to happen has finally taken place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Chief Advisor of the Interim Government in Bangladesh, Mohammed Yunus. And this meeting took place on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC Summit taking place in Thailand. Now, obviously, this meeting was expected because there is a lot that's happened in the past few months as far as Indo-Bangladesh ties go. And we'll take a look at what are the issues that have dominated the Indo-Bangladesh relationship and Prime Minister Modi's strong message, a very strong message that was also articulated by Vikram Misri, the Foreign Secretary. And this, of course, is something that has taken place in the meeting. Now, if one were to see what Prime Minister Modi and Professor Yunus discussed in their meeting on the sidelines of the summit that's taking place in Bangkok, the BIMSTEC Summit, it is very clear that there was a strong message, especially pertaining to what Mohammed Yunus has said in China about India's northeast states being landlocked, inviting China, saying Bangladesh is the only guardian of the ocean. So that is something that perhaps was also responded to. In fact, Prime Minister Modi reiterated India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. But the message really is, of course, something that one can take away from is where the Prime Minister also urged that any rhetoric that vitiates the environment is best avoided. And this is a very key message because there has been a lot of rhetoric that's been coming from the Bangladeshi side as well as far as India-Bangladesh relations are concerned. And the last one and the most significant one perhaps coming from Mohammed Yunus himself, where like I said, he mentioned the northeastern states. Also on the border, strict enforcement of the law and prevention of illegal crossing are necessary to maintain border security is something that the Prime Minister conveyed to Mohammed Yunus. But also this one, the Prime Minister also underlined India's concerns over the safety and security of minorities, especially or including Hindus in Bangladesh. Now, this is something that's come up in multiple discussions. Hindus are under attack in Bangladesh. Minorities are under attack in Bangladesh, and that's something that India has consistently raised. In fact, extremist elements in Bangladesh seem to have taken center stage under the current regime, the interim government. Elections are supposed to be held in Bangladesh, but till then, of course, these anti-India elements also seem to be having a lot of say. So all of this was communicated. Now, the Bangladesh side also says that, there were other issues like, perhaps the Teesta water management and also the renewal of the Ganga water treaty is something that perhaps was up for discussion. But there are bilateral mechanisms in place to discuss these, is what Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said. And these bilateral mechanisms will continue discussing these issues. But one must see this meeting as a very, very important one, simply given the fact that Prime Minister Modi's standing amongst global leaders is something that the interim government chief advisor Mohammed Yunus is aware of. The Prime Minister, of course, has delivered a strong message on behalf of India, especially on the rhetoric part. And this is something that perhaps is being seen as a very, very strong sort of message to Bangladesh that was delivered by the top leader, the Prime Minister himself, to Bangladesh. And of course, this is something that many were expecting that there would be perhaps a meeting, but on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC Summit, finally this meeting has taken place. And it's important to note that all these issues are very, very important issues in the India-Bangladesh relationship, and perhaps those statements from Mohammad Yunus did not do any good to a relationship that was already strained, according to experts, given what has happened in the last few months. But perhaps Prime Minister Modi meeting and Mohammad Yunus meeting and exchanging views between themselves could be perhaps a turning point from where India-Bangladesh relationship could see improvement, given the standing that Prime Minister Modi holds in this global world order. And therefore, this is being seen as also a point where perhaps the strained ties could move towards better. In fact, Mohammad Yunus presented a photo of Prime Minister Modi, giving him an award earlier in 2015, and the meeting took place, and that's what's important, because many were speculating on whether this will take place or not, but finally that meeting took place, and that's also a very, very important development as far as the India-Bangladesh relationship is concerned. And the strong message from Prime Minister Modi is something that also perhaps was necessary, given what has transpired in the last few months and in the recent past about the comments that perhaps what Mohammad Yunus made in the terms of the Northeast and being the guardian of the ocean. So a very, very important meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief Advisor of the Interim Government of Bangladesh, Mohammad Yunus, that's taken place on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC Summit in Dhaka. For more such analysis and pieces where we go beyond the news and discuss the context in which the news events are taking place, stay tuned to NDTV's YouTube platform. Thank you so much for watching, and for all the updates on the BIMSTEC Summit that has taken place in Thailand, stay tuned to NDTV.